Press a button. Thank you. Hey, fellow collectors, I'm Anthony with Anthony's Comic Book Art, and I'm losing my voice here at New York Comic Con.
As we do.
As we do, talking to people, and one guy I'm talking to is the Mr. Al Milgrom. Mr. Al Milgrom, how are you, sir?
Good, Anthony. How you been?
I've been all right.
Good.
I've been,
moving stuff this weekend, are you?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a grind. I think the economy is kind of, but there are some high rollers. People that have money will always have money. People that need money are selling. So it is a food chain sort of thing. It's a water cycle in that respect.
Sure. But even the people with money can't afford to buy all this art.
Right. Yeah.
So we need you little guys to come out and throw them some shekels.
Yeah, there's a high roller that came in yesterday, and it was all about, well, who's going to get that person's money?
Right.
And I didn't.
I'm sorry.
So you've been quite active in the selling market yourself. Being a competitor now.
I'm a competitor because I'm selling my art?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that makes a certain amount of sense. Well, I'm not getting any younger, as you folks can tell, and you can't take it with you. And as an older, out of work, retired guy.
You retired? Retired?
Well, I wasn't getting any work anyway, so I basically went, I was unemployed, but once I started collecting Social Security, I figured, well, now I'm retired. And, the fact that I have, all this artwork, I never sold it, all during my working career. And so now I
went to your house one time.
I remember. Sure. We had barbecue.
It was this high of FedEx boxes. You had one room that had all your FedEx boxes.
I did. Hey, Joe, there you are. Good to see you, pal. Joe Rubenstein, everybody.
Joe Rubenstein.
Everybody. Hi, everybody.
So he's just right there on the corner.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, you're not working on anything except to distribute your legacy to your children?
Yeah, more or less. We've been taking them on some family vacations, which I can afford when I sell stuff. And, I hope that I will not be hard pressed for money for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how long that's going to be, but clearly not getting any younger.
Right.
So,
but I mean, you were very prolific through. When would you say your heyday when you were doing motion covers? In the 80s.
When I was on staff at Marvel.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, being an editor, I was doing less freelance than I might have.
Right.
But I was also doing many of the covers for the books I edited, as well as for other editors. So I did a lot of covers.
What group editor were you?
I did. I was doing the Hulk.
Yeah.
I was doing. I was drawing at the time.
That was after Sal left?
No. Sal was. He was working for me.
Oh, he's working for
with Bill Mantlo. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You were the editor on the Micronauts one.
And Micronauts, and so I got to ink some nice, beautiful Michael Golden stuff. And Sal and Bill Mantlo were doing both the Hulk and Rom, and I did a lot of Rom covers. And I was in fairly. I was no Jack Kirby or Joe Kane, but I did a fair amount of covers for Marvel. And I had a stint on the Avengers. I did a lot of covers on that. I did some of, I think, my very best covers on Spectacular Spider-Man. I thought the ones I did for the Kitty Pryde Wolverine miniseries were very good. And, and I'm not the biggest fan of my own work. So if I thought those were good, then that was probably some of my very best stuff.
Were those ones you would sign Alan Milgrom? Not just A. Milgrom, or just Milgrom?
Al Milgrom, Alan. I answer, to anything.
When I used to know Dick Ayers, and he used to, when he really liked a cover, he would sign it. Richard Ayers,
I'll tell you, that's one of my big regrets. I only ever a single pin-up of his, and that was for some little independent publisher. But I wanted to work with all the guys that I grew up, what I call the Big Four at Marvel. I wanted to work on Kirby, I wanted to work on Ditko, I wanted to work on Don Heck, and Dick Ayers, and then of course with Stan. And I actually did draw one part of the story that Stan wrote. I inked some Kirby, and I did cover sketches for Kirby. When he was on the West Coast, and he came back from D.C. after the New God stuff. Jerry Conway said, we want to have Jack do a lot of covers for us like in the old days. But instead of having to ship him piles of Xeroxes of all the books and then have him waste his time going through them to find a cover scene, we want you to do the grunt work. Do sketches, cover sketches for Kirby, and then, save him that extra work, but then we get all the covers. I said, I'll do it if you let me ink them too. And he said, great. This is Jerry Conway. And so I did a bunch of cover sketches for Jack, and he stuck remarkably close to my sketches. So I was flattered, but I did my very best Kirby impression on the sketches. And then I got the ink a whole
Well, yeah, and when you talk about what titles those were, that was Captain America and Fantastic Four?
No.
No?
Avengers,
I'm so sorry.
Avengers,
Yeah,
Iron Man, and Ghost Rider.
Oh, okay.
Those were none, not the FF. No, they had Joe Sinnott.
Oh, yeah, Joe was there, and then I think he might have had Royer do the cap stuff, right?
Royer was doing some cap stuff. Giacoya was in and out of there, I think. A great inker, and he did a fabulous job on Kirby. Royer also, I love on Kirby. Anyway, but I did a ton of work. I just, I love doing it. I grew up, that's what I wanted to do, draw comics.
Yeah.
Once I got in,
Well,
I was hurt if they didn't think of me for every job they were doing.
Right.
But I was working in my capacity. I did absolutely every bit of the work that I could possibly have handled.
Well, you sound like you found something you loved and never worked a day in your life. But
Well, that's not true. It was work.
Yeah,
it was work, and it was.
Well,
And
that's the old expression.
I knew what you're going for, and it's true. But it's an effort, and I'm not the greatest artist or the most natural. It didn't come to me that
Well, how did
easily.
you come up? Did you go to like cartoons?
Well, first of all,
Newspaper
I met Jim Starlin in junior high school.
Oh, wow.
We went to the same junior high school and high school.
Was he bald and broody even then?
No, he had a nice head of hair.
Okay.
Very nice looking fella.
But broody.
And despite the, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Everything good? Everything's good.
I'll come see you.
All right, good man. So somebody said, "Oh, hey, this guy likes to draw comics too." I said, "Really?"
Yeah.
And
Well, you inked a lot of his stuff too.
Of course, early on, we lived in neighboring towns, went to the same high school. Jim went in the Navy, I went to college. I did at some point transfer to the art school at the University of Michigan.
Oh.
Because they said, you got to declare a major. And I said, well, I think I want to draw comic books. So I better get serious about it. So I took art classes. No cartooning, but figure drawing and design and, some advertising type stuff. But when I met Jim, his stuff is so much better than mine. I said, I'll just ink your stuff.
Right.
And we more or less did that for a few years. But we ended up getting into the business about the same time.
So you sort of cut your teeth off his pencils and then branched off
he
on your own.
he became a big influence.
Right.
And he was good, really, from 18, 19 on. He could have been a professional with a half decent, better than me inker.
And we're talking about the early Captain Marvel stuff, right?
Very much so. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
He was doing some stuff. He did a romance story. He did some layouts for John Romita and stuff. But he was getting work, and I took samples around, and I got a lot of well, you're not there yet, kid, kind of stuff. But I got a job working as a background man for Murphy Anderson.
Oh, DC.
Yeah, DC. And Murphy was a terrific artist. The nicest guy you'd ever
Yeah,
meet.
a very nice man,
Very
polite,
real
very,
gentleman, very
southern,
sweet.
North Carolina,
Southern gentleman.
treated people well. I
Absolutely. He was embarrassed to be in the business. He would come in every day from Jersey wearing a suit and tie. He'd have an attaché case, and what's in there? Business papers, contracts, no, pens, inks, brushes, and pages of Superman. And he would say, "Alan, you read these?" I would get the comic books from DC, and I'd oh, this is so great. He said, "Do you read those like on the subway when you go home?" I said, "Absolutely. Whenever I have a minute, I read it." He goes, "Oh, I'd be too embarrassed." So I said, "Murphy, you're a terrific cartoonist. Why are you embarrassed by that?" It's just that era.
Yeah, I understand.
He wanted to be a businessman. but he was a terrific cartoonist and stuff.
But you know, you got to live your dream, and that's awesome.
I did, you know, and I gotta say, coming to these shows, signing autographs, doing sketches, the three girls as they walk by.
Yeah, makes you feel appreciated in that. Yeah, yeah.
It is, you know, I get a lot of very nice feedback. Oh, I love your stuff. First comic I ever read was something you did. It's nice.
That's awesome. So, Mr. Al Milgrom, thank you so much for taking a few minutes with me. I appreciate you
Thanks for
telling us some of your life story and your career. And I'm Anthony with Anthony's Comic Book Art with Mr. Al Milgrom at New York Comic Con.
He's got an unbelievable amount of terrific stuff. If you're around here, come by and look at his table. There's something for everybody.
And my website, and Doing Dealers.
Whatever he's talking about there. Now he lost it. All right, Anthony, I'll catch you later.